Hey everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and in this video I'm going to show you how to make stevia extract. So I wrote a cookbook. It's called Everything Stevia, and it's 160 pages, full color cookbook of recipes ranging from granola to muffins, cakes, cookies, pies, crisps, cobblers, and so much more. But every recipe uses this stevia extract that you can easily make. I tell so many people that if you can boil water, stir a pot and strain, you can make stevia extract. What's really cool about stevia is that you can actually grow it yourself. You can also purchase it in bulk. And in this book here, I list tons of resources, US and Canada, to buy it in bulk. Same with seeds. I'm also planning on selling stevia seeds and possibly the herb in the future as well. I'm just trying to figure out how to increase my garden plot to do that. So definitely continue to check out our website at everything-homemade.com, as things are going to be added to our shopping, and some other things are in the making, so definitely check those out. As for the cookbook is sold worldwide, so it can be shipped worldwide. It is jam-packed. The first part of this book is gardening, the most detailed stevia gardening book I think ever out there. And I just put my heart and soul into this. Then there's a huge back to basics section, so everything back to basic in the kitchen, from for example vegan and dairy yogurt to all the milks, so oat milk and almond milk and coconut milk, to even making your own sourdough bread and starter, to gluten-free bread, and then on to sprouted whole wheat flour, and then dehydrating. It is all here. Then you have all the recipes you can imagine dealing with stevia. So this is a jam-packed book. The other thing is it also comes in ebook form as well. The back to basics section I've actually pulled out, and the ebook is on the website as well. So if you just want how to make the stevia extract and the back to basic recipes, that's also. If you guys would like me to pull out the gardening section of this cookbook, let me know, because I can make that into ebook form as well. So definitely check out those resources. Everything that is in this video is going to be step by step in detail in these books, so you can have the visual as I'm going to show you here, but also it written down as well. So we're going to take this beautiful herb right here. This is stevia leaf that I have dried from my garden this year, and we're going to turn this into stevia extract, and you can use this extract to make hundreds of things. The key when you're using stevia extract is this is a herb sweetener, and it's not cut with any other garbage that you're finding in the stores. And a lot of times when I'm at a health food store introducing my book, people are reluctant to try stevia extract because they have this mentality in their head that it's going to taste metallic. It's going to have this disgusting flavor in the back of their throat that just does not taste nice. And that's because big corporations, big companies who have taken over the health industry don't make it properly, and they cut it with other sweeteners, and it's not like your real stevia extract that I'm going to show you how to make here. And once I tell the people that are trying, like, just try the leaf. I usually have the leaf on demonstration, and they try the leaf and they're like, oh my goodness, that tastes different. And then they try the stevia extract, just a few drops in their mouth, and they're like, holy man, this is nothing like you can buy in the store. And it isn't. And they're like, wow, I can actually taste the sweetness, but all the herbal tones to it without that metallic, disgusting flavor that you can buy. And even so far, like I've tried pouches of stevia powder that you can buy in the health aisles, and they're still, I find them gross. And it kind of turned me off of stevia too for about 10 years, because I tried stevia before I went on cutting all the sugar out of my diet, and they don't taste like stevia. I've grown this, I've even buying bulk stevia, and when you make it yourself, it is night and day, and the transformation is unbelievable. So definitely don't have that preconception in your head, is this, no, I don't want to try it, it's absolutely gross, because the real stuff is real. It tastes delicious, and I have changed so many people's perceptions on the flavor of stevia if you're doing it right. So let's dive into how to make this extract, and then check out my cookbook to see how I'm using it, because when you're using stevia extract and you're pulling out that sugar, you're not using brown sugar, you're not using molasses anymore, you're just relying on stevia, there's this balancing of flavor act within the recipes, because you'll notice that I'm adding other ingredients, very practical ingredients, to get that flavor profile that is really critical when you're using that stevia, because you're missing out on those flavors that brown sugar or molasses or white sugar gives you when you are dealing with these recipes. But there are ways to go around it, and you can see that in the recipes. I really layering the flavors, and that is really key to making delicious, practical, even chocolate chip muffins. I even show you how to make chocolate chips with a few ingredients. So let's make stevia extract. Now this may not come up as clear, but in the book, in the very first page of chapter 3, Back to Basics, I have stevia extract, and I have it broken down in days, because you can actually extract the sweet quantity out of the stevia leaves 3 times over. So we're going to do the step 3 times. So day 1 is what we're going to work on. Then I have here day 2, and I have step-by-step pictures of it all the way to day 3. And then day 4, you have your final product. I have also some really important notes that a lot of people always ask me, so they're at the end of that they're at the end of this recipe. And again, I'm showing you step by step in here on how to make it. So let's flip back here a page, and let's start with day 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring 8 cups of unchlorinated water to 80 degrees Celsius or 176 Fahrenheit. And it's really important not to overheat the water in this case when you're dealing with herbs. Then we're going to measure out 2.5 cups or 80 grams of the dried herb. So let's do that. Now I have a nice kettle here that actually I can tell it what temperature I want the water. If you don't have this, then you want to have a thermometer or something where you can measure the temperature of the water. But so many kettles nowadays have this awesome setting on them. So I'm going to go ahead, fill up my kettle and set it to 80 degrees Celsius. So as my water comes to a boil, let's get a couple more things ready. You need a pot. Right here, you need a lid, and you can use a metal pot as well. You need a strainer, something that's going to sit into your pot. I have 2.5 cups of stevia all measured out, ready to go. And then I do have a 4-cup measuring cup. And you don't have to use a 4-cup measuring cup. You can use anything that's going to hold 4 cups. And and the hot water, so something to measure that out. So I'm gonna have all this stuff ready, and then what you need is either a wooden spoon or a large tablespoon, something like that, that you can mix the herb and the hot water together. So now that my water is ready, I'm going to put the 2.5 cups of stevia into my pot, and then I'm going to measure out 4 cups. Remember, we have warmed up 8 cups of water, so we're going to use half of that amount. The reason why this step is so important is because this removes the bitterness out of the herb. If this step is not done, the bitterness will stay in the herb and you're going to get that really metallic, gross flavor in your mouth. And so what we're going to do, this is called washing or shocking the herb. We're going to take this warm water, we're going to pour it and mix it in this, but within 15 to 20 seconds or even 30 seconds, we want to drain out this water. And you're not going to lose the sweetness, but what it's going to do is all these leaves have coatings on them, and that natural coating is the bitter flavor. And this is really important to do this step, and this goes with other herbs as well. Do this step and you're going to have a much nicer tasting tea without that bitter, metallic, gross flavor in your mouth. So let's do that. We've got to be quick here. Okay, so what we're going to do is pour this water in. Take a wooden spoon. Now I might go over the 30-second mark here just because I'm teaching you right now. Mix it in really good. Then you go over to your sink and you grab your strainer and then you pour it out just like that. And you notice that there's green water going down the drain here. And I left my scrubby toothbrush in the sink, but anyway, so you're going to just drain off that. And don't be worried that you're like, oh my goodness, I'm losing all the sweetness. You're absolutely not. You're not. You're losing all that bitter flavor. So I'm just going to drain out some more there. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go back to the counter. And what you want to do is just put back that herb. And now you have this wet look to the herb. And now I'm going to pour in the remaining 4 cups of water. I'm just going to grab as much stevia off the pot back into the water, and then we're going to put the lid on it and we're going to set it aside for 24 hours to soak. So this is 24 hours later and you can see a rich green color, and this is what we want to see. This is looking really good. So what you want to do is have 3 cups of warm water again at 80 degrees Celsius, just like we did the previous day. Have that ready to go because you'll need to use that. The other thing you need is another pot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this pot right here and strain the liquid into this pot and leave the herb behind, because we're going to do this, the whole procedure again, to extract as much sweetness out of these stevia leaves as we can. So let's do that. I'm just going to gently press it down a bit just to grab or just to push through as much of the liquid. You can see the difference when I squeeze it down a bit. And you'd be surprised if you taste a little bit of this herb, how much sweetness is still in them. It's unbelievable. Okay, so that looks really good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pot with the liquid and put it on the hot plate. And then I'm going to spill the herb back into my pot, just like that. And now I'm going to add 3 cups of warm water that I've already heated up to 80 degrees. And I like to just move the herb around just a little bit. Sometimes you can have like a little pocket where the water doesn't get in, but that's all you need to do. And then you place a lid on it, and once again put it on your counter for 24 hours. And I forgot to say, I say this in the book, but I forgot to say it on film, that you do not want to have this stored in direct sunlight. You want it on your counter, just off to the side, but just make sure that sunlight does not get to it. If you got a really warm house, like if you're doing this in summer, maybe find a cool spot. Even putting it into a room or downstairs in a basement where it's a little bit cooler, because this process, you can ferment this by accident if it's way warmer than room temperature. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this. Right now it's winter time here. My house is at 20. I have no chance of fermenting this. It's like if you're over 25 degrees Celsius, start looking at a cooler spot to do this and let the herbs sit so you don't have that fermentation happening. So I'm going to set this aside. Now this is a really important part here. You have this very concentrated tea, but we need to have it even more concentrated, and what we need to do is actually get this pot to a boil. So I'm going to turn it on fairly high heat, and once it hits a boil, then you want to just slightly reduce the heat, but keep it at a boil. You want to see it simmering, and I'll show you that. And we're going to simmer it down for 30 minutes, and that should simmer this liquid by half. Evaporate it and reduce it by half, and then you have a really, really concentrated stevia extract. So let's heat up our pot. So as you can see, we are definitely at a boil here, and this is what you want to see, and this is what you want to keep it at. So if you need to, cut down the heat a little bit, but keep it at this strong boil or a really roaring simmer. And what you want to do is put a 30 minutes in, and in 30 minutes you're going to decrease this liquid by half, so you can actually see it'll have a residue where you can actually see where it started, and then take a visual and look, you know, if once you hit about halfway, then this is done. So on average for me it takes about 30 minutes. So 30 minutes have gone, and you can see it, the level. So this is where it started, and we've reduced it now halfway, and now it's the perfect time to take it off the hot plate. So I'm going to remove it off the hot plate and place a lid on it, because now you don't want any more to evaporate. Take it off the hot plate and leave it there for a few hours. So now that our stevia extract has cooled down, I have a clean jar here. What I also have is a measuring cup. I mean, you can literally use anything else. This measuring cup fits good with my small strainer. So use what you got in the kitchen. So we need to use a smaller strain just because there's always a little bit of herb left over, and we don't want that in the finished product. So what I'm going to do is just take my pot and strain it into my measuring cup. Now the reason why I'm straining this into my measuring cup instead of just straining it into here is because my pot doesn't pour very good. So I don't want to make a big mess. So if you got a smaller strainer that'll just fit right into here, then you can just eliminate this particular step. So after that is done, I will take my stevia extract, which is just under 2 cups, and pour it in. And what you want to do is refrigerate this. You have 30 days if you leave your stevia extract on the counter under room temperature, okay? Otherwise it'll just ferment. But in the fridge, I have kept stevia extract as a sampler in the fridge for over a year now, and it still hasn't spoiled. So you definitely have a long time to use this. And I mean, it still hasn't spoiled over a year, so I don't know exactly how long it'll last, but long enough. You can put this in cold storage. You could can it if you would like. You could also freeze it. So there's many ways to store it, but I'm just gonna put this in the fridge and store it like that because we use the stevia extract constantly. So now what we need to do is just wait on our stevia extract that is soaking on the counter, and we're going to repeat this process all over again. Okay, so it's time once again to strain off our stevia leaves. It's been soaking for that 24 hours. So we're going to do the exact same thing, minus that when we add in the last bit of water, we're only going to add in 2 cups this time because there's only so much sweetener. So we don't want to add in that full 4 cups or 3 cups. We're actually decreasing the water. So there's just, I guess, so the water is more concentrated already. So let's do that. And remember, I'm adding 2 cups of water for the last soak, and then we're going to set this aside for 24 hours once again. So we're now once again 24 hours later, and this will be the last time that I strain my stevia leaves. If you would taste them now, there's not much sweetness left, if any, and that will be it. So I'm just gonna do this process like you've seen me twice over now and I'm gonna just press these down, reduce this, and then put it back into the container. So you can see that it makes quite a bit, and we're a family of 8 and we do a lot of baking, we do a lot of tea drinking, and I will do this once a month if we're on heavy baking. If we're not, then I'll do this every second month. So it lasts a long time. Remember, we're a family of 8, so we're a pretty big family. So it can easily last, you know, 2 to 3 months, 4 months, all this stevia extract that you have made. So it's definitely worthwhile doing. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope this just changes the way that you make things if you want to cut sugar right out of your diet. And I look forward to hearing from you in the comments. Once again, the Everything Stevia Cookbook is up for sale on our website. So if you would like to go to everything-homemade.com. So thanks again for watching, and subscribe, press that like button, and I will see you on the next video.